Hey guys, the new year is coming up on us, and with the new year comes a lot of new year resolutions. And most of those resolutions are going to be about your health. And I just had the conversation with a patient before lunch here about setting goals for the new year and new year resolutions. So I wanted to talk to you about some common things and common threads that I see in people that really do a good job of hitting those goals or those resolutions they set, and some things to think about. So the top three things I want to talk about are: one, you need to be realistic with your resolutions; two, you need to make it about habits; and three, you need to have a long runway in order to get them done. So what does that mean? If we're talking about being realistic, whether it's weight loss, or you're somebody that just wants to be more active, or maybe you're somebody that wants to try and run a marathon this year, or you're somebody that's never really worked out and you want to start working out, or maybe you work out but you're trying to bench 300 pounds this year. It doesn't really matter. You've got to be really realistic with what you where you're at currently, and then where you want to be. So I think, a lot of people, when it comes to New Year resolutions, talk about weight loss, and we talk a lot about nutrition because it can affect your joints and how much pain you're in our office. But we talk about nutrition a lot, and with that comes talking about weight loss. New Year's resolutions, a lot of times weight loss is the most popular. If you're somebody that's 60 pounds overweight and your New Year's resolution is to lose that weight, you've got to be realistic. If that weight's been on there a long time, it's not going to come off super fast. And if you do get it off super fast, a lot of times it can be hard to maintain those things. So you've got to be realistic with where you are at currently. And then from there, I think the best thing you can do is make it about building, block by block, building healthy habits. So again, it doesn't matter if you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to be somebody that reads more books, or somebody that's trying to work out more, or just be more active. If you're currently not doing any of those things at all, and you think you're just suddenly going to have this change of heart and do it, all year long, you're sadly mistaken. And that's why most people fail at their resolutions. So if you make it about habits, it can be more powerful. So what do I mean by that? Maybe you need to think about the fact that, let's use weight for example. I'm 60 pounds overweight and I'm trying to lose weight. What's realistic? Well, realistically, you're not going to lose 20 pounds a month for 3 months in a row. It's probably just not going to happen. But if you think about setting a realistic goal of, what if it's only 3 to 5 pounds in January? That is not very intimidating. It's more realistic, and there's some easy habits that you can start doing on a daily basis and not overwhelm yourself and not completely change your daily activities. Most people are overweight, or they're sedentary, or they're weak, or they are not fit physically because they have bad habits and they lack discipline. What you're going to need is, you're going to need to build good habits. So whether that's weight loss with, learning what you're putting in your body, learning how to read nutrition labels, understanding food and what foods are going to pack weight on you that maybe you didn't know before. You need to understand those things. You need to develop habits in place where day by day those habits are equaling wins for you on a daily basis without overhauling everything. And little by little, maybe it's taking your lunch to work and not eating fast food. Maybe it's drinking more water. Maybe it's intermittent fasting. Maybe it's not eating after 6 p.m. Maybe it's cutting the amount of carbs you eat by a third. All those little things that aren't going to drop 20 pounds off in 3 weeks, but if you take those over a long period of time, you get big results. So again, be realistic, develop good habits, and then have a long runway. That's number 3. And what do I mean by a long runway? If you have a big plane and a short runway, you're in trouble. You're going to have a hard time landing that plane. But if you give yourself an extremely long runway, you're more likely to land that plane safely or hit your goals. So the reason why I talk about this is people use time, or they view time the wrong way. If you really think about it, time flies by. And so, I take this guy's trip every year. Well, it's a couples trip with kids, family trip to Kentucky Lake. We do it the same weekend every year. And every time we're there, we're always sitting around the campfire, and everybody says the same thing: I can't believe another year went by. 12 months has passed, and everybody says the same thing. I mean, time just flies. So if you go back to our first two things we talked about, be realistic, maybe just 3 pounds a month, build good habits, and then do it for a whole year. Instead of trying to cram all your goals into 30 or 90 days, think about it over the next 18 months. And if you just did all those small things for 18 months, you're going to be much more likely to hit your goal. You know, if you only lost 3 pounds a month for 12 months, you're still losing 36 pounds in 1 year. And like we just talked about, a year flies by. And then 12 months in, if you've lost 36 pounds slowly over the course of a year, it probably is going to get easier for you to continue to do those things. And then 18 months down the road, you've lost like close to 50 pounds. So I think people get in a problem when they rush their goals. They think they're going to accomplish it all in 30 days. Suddenly, because January's here, I'm going to hit all my health goals because I'm going to be disciplined all of a sudden. Most likely, you're not. Some people pull that off. A lot don't. The people that succeed typically are going to set realistic goals, develop habits, learn more about what they're trying to achieve, slowly work into it on a long runway, and build those habits to where they become habits to where you're doing them day by day, week by week, routinely, and then 12 months goes by in a flash, like everybody says. They can't believe Christmas is here again. It doesn't seem right. Well, if you've done in that short amount of time you just talked about flying by, if you just do small things over a course of a long time, you get really big outcomes. So that would be my advice, whether it's you're trying to be more fit, you're trying to grow stronger, you're trying to be less sedentary, lose weight, etc. Don't try to cram it into 30 days. Probably won't work. Most of my patients that really change their lives and hit their goals are building good habits. They're learning more about what they need to do, and they do small things over a long period of time to get really big outcomes. So think about these things as you're setting those goals, or maybe as the time this video comes out, you've already fallen off track. Maybe it's time to rethink what you're doing, go back to the drawing board, and come up with some easy steps that don't overwhelm you, that you can do over a long period of time to get big outcomes. Hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon.